Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will dive deep into the explosive May 6th episode, where Hope Logan finally draws a massive line in the sand. RJ makes a highly questionable vow to Elektra, and Melissa Dillon is backed into a terrifying corner by her own flesh and blood. Let's be real for a second, we all knew this day was coming. The tension between Hope Logan and Steffy Forrester has been a ticking time bomb for months, and on Wednesday, May 6th, that bomb is finally going to detonate right in the middle of the Forrester Creation CEO office. Hope is completely and utterly fed up. She has asked Steffy, her so-called co-CEO and lifelong rival, several times for a concrete launch date for the Hope for the Future line. And what does Steffy do? She refuses to give her a straight answer. She deflects, she delays, and she essentially treats Hope like a pesky intern rather than the face of a brand that has kept Forrester relevant to a younger demographic for years. I think Steffy's actions here are completely wrong. She is letting her personal vendetta regarding the Deacon and Taylor situation and her generational hatred of the Logans bleed entirely into her corporate responsibilities. It is a terrible business move, and honestly, it's just petty. Hope is finally reaching her absolute tipping point, and I am here for it. For over a decade, we have watched Hope play the role of the sweet, accommodating peacemaker. We watched her step aside time and time again, while Liam Spencer bounced between her and Steffy like a human ping pong ball. We watched her endure the absolute psychological torture of the Thomas Forrester mannequin era. But this new Hope, this empowered, rebellious Hope, who has been pushed to the absolute brink, she is not backing down. When she marches into that CEO office and encounters both Steffy and Ridge Forrester, the air is going to be thick enough to cut with a knife. Ridge, as usual, will probably stand there looking confused and utterly useless, playing favorites with his daughter while pretending to be an objective leader. And then comes the cliffhanger moment. Hope looks them dead in the eye and delivers a line that gave me absolute chills in the weekly preview. I need to know if I have a place here, because if not, then that is crazy. She is effectively putting a gun to the head of Forrester Creations. Of course, Steffy, with her usual smug arrogance, fires back. Then what Steffy assumes Hope is bluffing. Steffy genuinely believes that Hope's entire identity is so wrapped up in Forrester Creations that she would never actually walk away. But here's the kicker. Steffy has no idea what is brewing behind the scenes. She doesn't know that Hope is holding a massive trump card. Will Hope admit that she has a highly lucrative offer on the table from Katie Logan Spencer? Will she drop the bomb that Katie is building a rival fashion empire and wants Hope to be the crown jewel? Many fans think Hope will throw this in Steffy's face immediately to watch her squirm. But I think she'll play it smart. I think Hope will decide to keep that massive secret to herself for now. Why show your hand when you can let your opponent underestimate you? Plus, with Liam Spencer actively pitching Deke Sharp as the new designer for Hope's potential line at Logan, the pieces are perfectly falling into place for the ultimate corporate betrayal. If Hope walks, she isn't just leaving a company. She is taking a legacy brand and handing it directly to the Logans. It would be the biggest power shift we've seen since the golden days of the Spectra versus Forrester fashion wars. Now let's pivot away from the boardroom and talk about the absolute toxic mess that is RJ Forrester. RJ is not about to give up on winning over Elektra anytime soon. And honestly, his behavior is starting to seriously rub me the wrong way. On Tuesday, RJ makes Elektra a solemn promise to always protect her. But let's pause and ask the obvious question. I'll protect her from who? Will Spencer, give me a break. RJ is weaponizing this faux knight in shining armor routine to manipulate a girl who is currently in a highly vulnerable state. Elektra just had her entire world shattered when Daphne confessed that Ivy Forrester completely orchestrated her breakup with Will. She is raw, she is traumatized, and she is confused. And instead of giving her space to process this massive betrayal, RJ is swooping in to claim her. I think RJ's actions are incredibly predatory. He is projecting his own deep-seated insecurities onto this situation. Remember the fierce showdown in the showroom where Will completely decimated RJ's ego by pointing out that he's not even a real Forrester and is actually a Marone? That insult cut RJ to the absolute bone. Ridge's true parentage is the ultimate sore spot for this family. RJ isn't protecting Elektra. He is using Elektra as a pawn to assert his dominance over Will Spencer. He wants to prove that he is the superior man, the true Forrester heir. And he is using this poor girl to do it. And you won't believe what happens next. Because Elektra hasn't exactly discouraged his pursuit either. Why? Because she is hurting. She wants to feel safe, and RJ is offering a very convenient, albeit toxic illusion of safety. It's classic soap opera psychology, running from one complicated mess directly into the arms of a disaster waiting to happen. But if you thought the corporate drama and the romantic manipulation were intense, we need to talk about the absolute horror movie that is playing out in the Forrester design office. Melissa Dillon is in a terrifying quandary, and I am officially stressed out for her. On Monday's episode, we saw Dillon's stalker finally reveal himself. He stepped out from behind a dress rack, and Dillon shrieked in absolute terror. And who was wearing that long, dark, creepy wig? Remy Price? But that wasn't even the biggest plot twist. The jaw-dropping revelation is that Remy Price is Dillon's cousin. Can you believe it? Her own flesh and blood is the maniac who has been calling her with a voice scrambler and stalking her in her new workplace. This changes everything, and we need to unpack the dark, twisted history here. We already know that Remy is the sick, twisted individual who tortured Elektra by posting those horrific deepfake photos of her. He is a dangerous, unhinged criminal. And now Dillon finds herself in a real pickle, a massive moral and physical bind. Why? Because it turns out that Remy is the one who helped Dillon get her position as an art teacher in the first place. He pulled strings for her. He did her a massive favor. And in the twisted logic of a soap opera villain, a favor is a blood pact. Remy explicitly told her that he is there to collect. He expects something in return for setting up her life, and he is not going to take no for an answer. So what does Remy want from Dillon? Let's connect the dots based on what we know about the broader canvas. Remy has a deep, obsessive romantic history with Deke Sharp. Deke is currently being pitched by Liam as the potential new designer for the Logan fashion house. Remy wants Deke back, and he is going to use Dillon to get him. He is essentially blackmailing his own cousin. If Dillon doesn't help Remy reconcile with Deke, Remy will absolutely destroy her life. He could expose the fact that Dillon's past is intimately intertwined with a man who ruthlessly tormented Elektra with deepfakes. If Elektra finds out that her new friend, the woman who is living with her ex-boyfriend, is blood relatives with her abuser Elektra, will absolutely destroy Dillon. The Forrester family will chew her up and spit her out. I feel profound sympathy for Dillon right now. She just made the incredibly heartbreaking, self-sacrificing decision to move out of Will's beach house immediately because she valued her friendship with Will and felt she had wronged Elektra. She tried to do the honorable thing. She tried to step away from the toxic love triangle. And her reward for doing the right thing is being cornered by a psycho cousin in a wig who wants to turn her into his personal henchman. It is a brilliant, devastating piece of writing. Dillon is a naturally good person who is about to be forced to do terrible things just to survive. Will Dillon cave to Remy's blackmail? Will she actively manipulate Deke Sharp to save her own skin? Or will she find the courage to go to the police or perhaps go to Will Spencer for help? Will has proven that he can be ruthless when he needs to be. And if Dillon confesses this to Will, we might see Will and Remy go head to head in a battle that will make the Spencer-Forrester feud look like child's play. This entire week is setting up a massive collision course. We have Hope ready to nuke Forrester Creations from the inside out and hand the keys to the kingdom to Katie Logan. We have RJ playing a dangerous, manipulative game of White Knight with a deeply traumatized Elektra risking a violent explosion with Will Spencer. And we have Dillon trapped in a psychological thriller with a deep fake creating maniac who shares her DNA. The stakes have literally never been higher, and I cannot wait to see who survives the fallout. Let me know in the comments below, do you think Hope should quit Forrester and join Katie? And what do you think Remy is going to force Dillon to do?